It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
Cut the fuck up, Scotty. Sports, that's right. Sports. Get focused on sports, Pete. It is the Pete Sousa Show. We're coming to you live from the Alico building here in Central Texas. And there is no shortage of topics this morning. First of all, we will be joined, momentarily, by my main man, former Richmond Spider, and a long, fruitful NFL career, my man Shawn Barber. He's now working in player engagement for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's where he started his NFL career, played with the Chiefs, the Redskins, and the Eagles. He actually started his career with the Redskins. And he is an amazing dude. I remember meeting him on my recruiting visit in 1995, and he was a special guy, and there's a lot to talk about with Shawn. And I really do want to tap into some of that Cowboys-Redskins rivalry, along with what he's doing today with one of the most prominent organizations in all of pro sports. As we lead up to Shawn, a couple things to start with. Obviously, we want to thank Slovacics, right? And Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. And Socorro Family Ford. I mean, that's it, baby. You go there, you take a car for a test drive, you might be going off the lot in it. Also, Crawford Austin Properties and Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. We put a cool segment up with them again yesterday. And First National Bank of Central Texas, of course. We'll be talking to Dan Ingham tomorrow. There is a game, and I'll start talking about it now, that's happening this weekend that could change the entire trajectory of the Heisman Trophy race. And it's happening right by the stockyards. It's going to be a shootout in the stockyards. It's TCU and it's Baylor. Now, the game is on ESPN2 at noon. I bring that up because no knock on Fox or FS1. I mean, if it was on Big Fox, that'd be amazing. But it's important that this game is, and no knock on me, right? I'm the king of big-time ESPN Plus games. But the fact that it'll be on linear television, and it's a game that you really could see like video game numbers on the scoreboard and from the quarterback. And the quarterback I'm talking about is Sawyer Robertson. Now, I know for a fact that the folks at Baylor have been kind of lying in wait. Is that it, Scotty? Lying in wait? That's how you say it, right? Lying in wait. Don't you love when you say shit that you're not even sure what it means? I know the folks at Baylor have been lying in wait on a Heisman campaign for Sawyer Robertson, and they've been waiting for the moment. And let's be real. I mean, the SMU comeback was probably a moment in itself, but it was on the CW, right? And it was very early in the season. But the reason that I am now really back on the taking over my responsibility once again as conductor on the Sawyer Robertson train is because the race is wide open. And the dude leads the country in passing yards and touchdowns. And oh, by the way, he's the best dude you'll ever meet. And I know the folks at Baylor have a game plan, right? That they're probably ready to roll out at the right moment that will focus not only on his skill set, but his prowess as a person. And like Saturday, not only is a huge game, and the best part about Sawyer is he's not thinking one iota about what I'm talking about, not just because he doesn't care what Pete's saying, although he probably will tell you he does because he's that good a guy. But he's not thinking about a Heisman Trophy race. He's just not. But the numbers say he should be thinking about it. And again, the fact of the matter is any college football outlet that's worth a damn that you listen to or watch will tell you that we have no clue who the Heisman Trophy winner is going to be. It's a wide open race. So a weekend like this one, right, is a perfect opportunity for someone like Sawyer Robertson to emerge. Now, I got somebody ready to emerge right now in Kansas City, someone I know well. His name is Shawn Barber, an NFL veteran, more than a decade, which means you did a damn good job. Shawn Barber, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Man, Pete, you are a man, a myth, a legend. I don't think your audience even know how honored they should be to hear from you on I don't know if it's a daily, weekly. I got to start following the podcast so I can listen to it myself, man. But listen, man, we had a fun time together at the University of Richmond, man. So, I'm honored to be
well, dude, look, man,
to chop it up with you a little bit.
Hey, dude, I appreciate you saying that. And, someone like you doesn't have to say it, and you did, so I appreciate it. But I do want to start. I want to talk about your career, what you're doing with the Chiefs now. But I want to start with you as the man. I can say personally, for me, I had a unique experience at Richmond, right? I get there. I think I'm going to play. I have a heart problem. I can't play. People like you, and honestly, your brother Stefan, right? You guys welcomed me under the tent, and I felt like I was a member of the team because of you guys, because I didn't really inside feel like I was a member of the team because I felt like I was on the outside. So that as a teammate, right? And this is before you became a superstar, really. I knew you when you were about this thin, dude. So I just want to say thank you for that. You were always a great person first before being an amazing player.
Man, I appreciate that. I would say, man, growing up, me and my brother were always more family orientated. We always we encourage our friends to come over to our house, even though, man, listen, my dad was a very strict, regulated. Listen, we took toys out. You had to put them back before you went to the next room. If you had snacks, you had to put everything away, clean up before you went to the next thing. So, I mean, it wasn't really a bunch of fun things to do around my house, but it gave us a lot of discipline, a lot of order. And it was always a method to the madness. But one thing our friends love to do is they always felt like family when they came to my house. So when I got, a chance to go to the University of Richmond and I was a freshman, man, like the one thing I thought was missing was like this family atmosphere. It felt like we were just like some mercenaries that would all like given a scholarship to come and play for Richmond. And I wanted to feel like more like it was an honor, man. It was like, man, this should be somebody's dream to come to the University of Richmond, be a spider, be a part of this family. And I just wanted it to be a brotherhood, man. I wanted it to be a bunch of guys who spent 3, 4, 5 years together and felt like family at the end. And man, listen, I still keep up with at least 15, 16 different guys that we played with at Richmond, the Ramon Streeters, the Eric Goods, the Jasmine Colemans, it just Minoso Rogers, Keith Middleton, Kerry Goodwin, all those guys, man. I kind of keep up with those guys, hopefully to get them to a Chiefs game every once in a while, but just chop in with them, man, checking on them, see how life is treating them. Man, we have a lot of successful guys that left University of Richmond that are now doing different things, scouting, coaching, marketing, broadcasting, a lot of different roles, not just in the NFL, but just in sports in general.
That's a really good point. I mean, there was something in the water there. I mean, it took me a minute to get it, but I eventually did. But no, it's true. I mean, there was a standard set, and there was also that family atmosphere. I want to talk a little bit about your career as a player, because you really did. I mean, I was talking to Matt Davis. I keep up with Davis a lot,
Okay.
right? And, he was talking about blocking you in college. And he said that was the first guy who I was like, he said there was just no reach. When Shawn was playing a 9 technique, like you weren't going to reach and get him. That was impossible.
Yeah.
Like, at what point did you know that, and you were always where your feet were, but at what point did you know when you were at Richmond, like, hey, this might be like a career for me?
I mean, I don't know if I ever thought about it being a career while I was at Richmond. I think I just wanted to get an education. I didn't have enough money to, pay for school. And so when Coach Reed came to the house and gave me that good old handshake, we been close. And I was like, man, this just sounds like a guy that's going to be invested in me, developing my talents, developing like not just me as a player, but also like just me as a man. I just felt like, man, it was going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of mornings, a lot of blood, sweat, and tear, a lot of what they call it, sweat equity. We was gonna get a return on our investment. And it was going to make us some really good people. So like football was just something I did. It wasn't who I was. It was just, man, I was good at it. I was talented. I was athletic. But it's so much more to football when it comes to the dedication. And like I said, man, I wanted to be successful, not for myself, but for like all the other 10 guys on the field with me. I didn't want to let my brothers down. I didn't want to let my coaches down. I didn't even want to let the fans down. The fans that came to support us, I wanted to make sure the alignment, the assignment, the execution, we dedicated and sacrificed so much of our time during the week away from our books and studies to be, to go out there and produce on the football field. I just wanted to make sure that we showed that on Saturday. And then, I mean, kind of same thing when I got to the NFL. I kind of get a little bit obsessed with the preparation. I always called it the process. The process matters more than what it produces. I get obsessed with the process. This is how I take my day-to-day preparing, whether it's for work, whether it's with my marriage, my kids, with my friendships. I want to make sure I'm prepared to be beneficial to the people I'm in relationship with, the people who I say are in my circle, the people I care about. I want to make sure I'm really preparing myself for whatever issues come up. And if they want to talk about something, whether it's faith, family, football, whatever they want to talk about, I want to make sure I'm prepared for that moment. I really have a heart for people and serving people. So I don't know. I think all that kind of, you put all that in a cooker and let it boil a little bit, and you get Shawn Barber.
Well, Shawn Barber's still cooking, right? Here you are talking to me from Kansas City. We had to move this up a little bit because you're like, hey, we got our walkthrough coming up. You're working in player engagement with the Chiefs. What was there a theme in your career, whether it was at Richmond or you found it in Washington playing for the then Redskins or with the Eagles that you still carry to players today? Like a lesson you learned or something that you feel is so essential that you still find yourself talking about it daily to players?
Oh, definitely. Coach Reed taught, I don't know which year we was at Richmond, but courage. Having the courage to be bold and not be like everybody else, and understanding being unique is a gift. It's not nothing you should run away from. You shouldn't be the guy that wants to be doing what everybody's doing. You want to find a way to really set yourself apart when it comes to being on the football field, being an athlete. Almost in anything you do, you want to do it to the best of your ability, and never turn in work or never do anything half-assed or half-heartedly. That kind of thing, it trickles and it feeds into so many different levels of life. I know myself as a player, like coming from Richmond we're not a powerhouse. We wasn't a football. We're not Georgia, Alabama, University of Miami, Florida State. It's not one of those schools where, when you get to the league, you got to kind of prove to them that you don't belong, because everybody knows that if you come from one of those schools, you're supposed to be a pro player. Coming from University of Richmond, there wasn't a big footprint. There wasn't a big historically a bunch of guys that came out. But the few guys that came out, the Brian Jordans of the world, they left a legacy of a guy from Richmond is going to come. He's going to be smart. He's going to play tough. He's going to be hard-nosed, going to play with a lot of grit, a lot of tenacity. He's going to know his alignment, know his assignment, and then he's going to execute. I was going to run and finish every play through the echo of the whistle. So those are the things that I find just different ways of sharing with our young guys, our rookies, our first and second year players. Continuously understand that this is a gift. Playing in the NFL, whether you're on the practice squad, you're a starter or a reserve, this is you're one of one. This is as good as life gets to be able to play at the NFL on this level, and you should cherish it, and you should prepare every day of understanding what that opportunity holds. And through injuries or through maybe not caring as much, not being prepared, it can be taken away from you. We're cutting and adjusting the roster on a daily basis. Rashee Rice just came off suspension this week. And so when he gets added to the roster, then we had to send a wide receiver home. Jason Brownlee had to get sent home 2 days ago. Well, we had a guy, Jamie Robinson, get brought up from our practice squad and got activated to the Detroit Lions. So that opened that area, that spot for Brownlee to come back. Now, he could have been bitter and he could have been, in his feelings or, F the Chiefs and all that. But, man, it probably gave him a renewed sense of purpose of, man, listen, if I don't want that to happen to me again, I better come to practice with an attitude of showing somebody on a daily basis how much this matters to me. And I think that is very unique when you talk about the NFL, of trying to find 53 guys, 17 practice squad guys. So you got about 70 guys who are all trying to prove that they are worthy of those spots. So that's how I talk to guys, and I want them to really appreciate the opportunity and realize that anything I can do to help them along that journey, along that road, it's going to be a rough road because a lot of people want that position, but they have the potential to do it. And right now with Kansas City, we're doing it at a really high level.
Yeah, I want to ask you about how your career led you back to Kansas City, one of the most prominent organizations in pro sports. And now here you are, right, back in Kansas City, a part of this force of nature that is the Kansas City Chiefs. How'd you end up back there?
Man, nothing is guaranteed in life. And so, like I said, it goes back to back when I was with the Redskins, they call it Commanders now. I think I practiced with a certain amount of intensity and a certain amount of effort. And there was a scout there. His name was Eric. He left Washington and ended up going to the Eagles. And then when I became a free agent, he told the Eagles, "Hey, you need this Barber kid he's a hell of a special team, but he also is a really good will linebacker." And so that was my opportunity to go to Philadelphia, and I got a chance to play under Coach Reed and Coach Spagnola. God bless him at this time. Jim Johnson, the coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, that staff, if you look back at the 02 Eagles staff, there is head coaches all around. Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier, Ron Rivera at the time, just a bunch of guys that ended up.
Harbaugh, right?
Yes, John Harbaugh was my special teams coach. Dave Tobe, who is now the special team coach here at Kansas City, was an assistant on that staff. Amazing staff full of soon-to-be head coaches, all had the chance to see me in my prime. And so when those guys go to different organizations, well, then it led to me coming to Kansas City, and then I went back to Philly again, and my last year was 07 with the Texans. So I get into coaching, I get into scouting, I do some things. I become an insurance salesman. I sales insurance for about 5 years. And then when the opportunity came for me to come back to Kansas City in this role, it was just like, hey, Shawn, are you still as passionate about football as you were when you played? Are we going to get a watered-down version of you, or are you still barbershop? I said, Coach, my son was already employed here at the time, but I said, listen, you know I'm a family guy. Family's first, my faith. Those are the kind of things that those are the rocks I build everything on. So I'm going to come in with the same energy and enthusiasm I did when I was a player. I'm a lot older now, so I gotta warm my knees up a lot more and rub a little bit more Bengay on my muscles and stuff. But as far as from mentally, the food that I'm spitting out for these guys to digest is the same like mindset I had when I was going through college, going through the pros. It's a tough business because your stats matter and your production matter. But at the end of the day, man, if you come with if you're just passionate about what you do and you let people understand how much you care and how much you want to be here, why your why do you want to be here? If you know all those things, man, you're not going to have a bad week or a bad season or a bad month. You might have a bad day, but overall, people will know like who you are and what you're about. And if you can show that to this team on a daily basis, week in and week out, you'll have no problem staying in the NFL.
Man, that's great stuff. And I think that I can't even imagine the service you're doing for the Chiefs and some of those young guys, especially you mentioned the first and second year dudes. We're in Texas now. I am. So, the Dallas area, Central Texas too. I want to ask you about the Washington and Dallas rivalry. That game is coming up on Sunday. What was your first experience with that rivalry where you were like, man, this is a little different? Because it was your entree into the NFL at the same time.
Yeah, I can't even remember, man. So being again, like so focused in preparation on the day-to-day of my own position, I don't know if I really got caught up in the rivalries as much as I did. Like when I was at Richmond, it was Richmond versus William & Mary. Man, we wanted to beat them so bad and everything. When I got to the pros, each week was its own set of circumstances, set of hurdles, set of issues. I don't know if I ever got caught up with the Cowboys and Redskins or the Commanders being a bigger game than any other game. It was, now when you're in the league, you get paid each week. You're out there it's a job and it's a career. And so I was just looking at that. This is one of 16 games of me to show that I deserve to be a starting linebacker in the league. And I mean, if I'm not a good enough linebacker to start for the Redskins or the Commanders, I got to show I'm good enough for another team to pick me up. So I always had that, always playing for that next season, playing for that next moment, playing for that next opportunity. But I did, I did open myself up to make some relationships with different coaches and people in the building who had been around the Redskin Commanders organization for a number of years. And they just talked about historically how, playing against this Cowboy team over and over, and the Cowboys being such a dominant team in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. I mean, you just hate losing to those guys over and over again. And because they was in your division, it was twice a year. I mean, the Troy Aikmans, the Emmitt Smiths, the playmakers, that Nate Newton and that offensive line they had. They were one of the most dominant teams in the NFL when I first got into the league. And so it was, if we wanted to say that we were a playoff team, I mean, it went through the Cowboys. You had to go through Dallas to prove that you was able to be worthy of the playoffs. And they was always relevant. They were always really good. They had a bunch of dominant teams. And so, yeah, you kind of got yourself up for that game. Like I said, man, that offensive line was tremendous. They had Emmitt Smith as the running back playmaker, man. Troy Aikman as the quarterback. So, I mean, that's a bunch of Hall of Famers that we got to play against. And it was a challenge. And I really think I love to step up and play the best. I wanted to make sure that I played the team when they was full. I wanted everybody to be active. And I don't really like playing teams when they got, the quarterback hurt or the tackle hurt. Now, I want you full. I want if you beat my butt, I want it to be with the best guys you got. I don't want your backups in there and all that kind of stuff. So, I really thrived off the competition. I really thrived off. I was kind of obsessed with the level of competition that's available in the pros. And maybe that's why I stayed around for 10 years.
Well, I want to ask you two more questions. One, okay, you kind of answered it, but from a skill level, you obviously, just talking to you now, Shawn, you could still play in the NFL with the attitude you have. But from a skill level, what separated you and allowed you to be a starter or main contributor in the NFL for 10 years with some of the marquee organizations in the NFL? What separated you?
Like I said, I definitely was dedicated for preparation, getting my rest, nutrition. I was kind of a workout. I work out early, often. Twice a day sometimes.
A beast. And by the way, the rumor was when I got to Richmond, because when Shawn became such a superstar, it was like, yo, this guy could barely do 225 when he got here.
Oh,
now look at him.
The truth is, I did one rep of 185. We had at skilled positions, we had to do 185, and I was a wide receiver coming in, playing wide receiver and DB. I got under there, and when I say I did one rep, it probably was more like a half a rep. And they had to pull the weight up off me. But then, I realized really early on how much strength mattered, and your core strength, your upper body, all that kind of stuff. Like if you really want to go out here and be dominant, you can know what to do and get to that point where that one-on-one, is your discipline versus the guy across the field. Well, if he's, 3 times stronger than you, then you're probably not going to win that much. So I really took that, those first 3 years at Richmond to really, kind of dedicate myself to like getting my body, not just strength wise, but also my conditioning and everything else just up to a level where I could now feel like, you know what, I don't care if it's first, second, third quarter, overtime. I'm going to be one of the most well-trained, conditioned, and then my body, how we say about fatigue will make you a coward. Fatigue. Yeah. You can prepare yourself for a battle, and then when you get tired, the other team is in better condition, and they just don't make as many mental errors and many mistakes because they're not worried about being tired. And so I realized that, like in my second year at Richmond, if I could get myself in such good shape, physically, mentally, everything, that I didn't allow myself to feel tired. No matter how many plays I was on the field, I'm not going to allow myself to take a moment to be tired. That really, that opened a lot of doors for me as far as my ability to go make plays late in the game, that big sack, that big fumble, that big, stripping the ball out, running down a running back once he breaks into the open. All those kind of things that really stand out as like highlight plays. I think my conditioning level is what allowed me to really, step up to that moment and really make that into a highlight for me instead of a low light for our team.
All right, last question for you, because I know you got to go. You got walkthrough coming up, but you have been able to witness. You're one of the few people up close and personal, the evolution of Andy Reid, the guy who in Philly couldn't get over the hump to now the guy in Kansas City who is probably going to go down as maybe the best football coach in the history of football coaches. How has he evolved over, the course of time that you have got the chance to witness?
Well, so there's two different levels. I said there's a side of him that he knows what he knows. He knows that there's the way that you have to go build this thing. And it's brick by brick. You got each season, you got to tear it down. No matter how good you were the previous season, if you won the Super Bowl, if you was a 5-12 team, whatever you are, you still got to strip it down to the nuts and bolts. And then you got to put it in. You got to start with the basics. You got to start with the fundamentals in training camp. And you got to build a team the right way. You can't fabricate it. There's no fast pass to get to your team playing well. And sometimes you go through some like early this year, the first 2 games, we went through some bumps and bruises that were not characteristic of an Andy Reid team. It wasn't characteristic of a team that had Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Chris Jones and all the stars we had. But in the long run, the fundamentals are being laid of how this team wanted to play and how these guys were going to, be available and stand up and just be a team. And the focus was just, hey, let's stick with the process. Stick with the process. If you stick with the process, then you're going to like what it produces more than not. And we're going to be there in the end. We're going to be ready. But let's not cheat the system. Let's not cheat the process. And so you got that level of Andy that knows how to win and build a championship team. But then you have the other side of him who has dealt with personality changes, because now the rookies and the guys you see in the NFL locker room nowadays are not like, I'm 50 now, so you got to go back 30 years to when I was a rookie. We were just always in the locker room. We was there. We didn't have a bunch of social media and a lot of things going on. Now, we got guys getting married to superstars and Patrick Mahomes owning all these brands and restaurants, and Chris Jones is the CEO of Sack Nation. And that's not to mention all the other, multitude of things our coaching staff and just everybody in the Chiefs kingdom got going on. The Kansas City Chiefs are trying to become an international team. They're going across seas every year to Germany and Brazil. And when you're trying to take a team and trying to convince this team of 53 guys to just focus on winning, but the organization is being spread amongst multiple nations, there's got to be a part of you as a head coach that has to be a little bit, you got to grow. You got to understand that this is not 2005 anymore. 2025, you got to understand these players are a little bit different. And even Andy himself has started making himself open up to a few commercials and a few things to let the outside world see his personality and realize he's not as strict and stringent as old school as he used to be when I played for him. And I think that's been a benefit. I think that that's allowed the Chiefs to be, if you ask me, I know Dallas might not approve of this, but I think the Chiefs are now America's team.
There you go. Shawn, man, you are more impressive than ever. I truly love you, and I thank you for spending the time, man.
And, I got a heart for servitude, man. So I start every day with a daily devotion. The Lord blessed me with a gift of gab. I share my heart with people. And I pray for people every day, man. I pray for, listen, you don't know, if I pray for you and your soul and your spirit and everybody who you touch. I love you. I hope your podcast goes great. I hope everything you do goes great. But, man, we got a great group of guys that went to the University of Richmond. And that brotherhood, man, it was something before I even knew the definition of brotherhood. So I'm so thankful to be a part of that. And, man, I just love you, man.
Love you too, Shawn. We'll talk soon, man.
All right.
Good luck, Chiefs. Oh, man, how cool is that? Shawn Barber. It's rare when the player and the impressiveness of the player can really meet the man. But Shawn is, and I'm telling you, like, I got to Richmond as a kid who was kind of devastated but didn't even know how to handle it because I had a heart problem. I couldn't play. And there were guys who were really good on the team who were cool to me. And Shawn was one of them. And I can tell you, I almost get emotional talking about it because that was a tough time in my life. I used to, while the guys would practice preseason in the summertime, obviously I couldn't play. So I would jog around the field. And his brother, Stefan, who obviously from Richmond with Shawn, would jog around the field with me. And like, that was like, just gave me instant credibility. And, to just talk with Shawn, I haven't talked to Shawn in 15 years, dude. It's like we haven't missed a beat. And an amazing guy from an amazing family. And just, it's no surprise that he's kicking ass in life. All right, the Pete Sousa Show comes back. We're presented by Savachics. Thank you, Shawn Barber. Yeah, man, that was great stuff. We'll be right back.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble does bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Sousa to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Sousa. That's S-O-U-S-A. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show continues, rocking and rolling. Thanks again to Shawn Barber. Just a great dude. And thanks to Kevin Fisher. Can you put up Fisher's comment? I mean, this guy's a legit big deal. By the way, during the break, we had a major meltdown, and Scotty was able to fix everything. So Scotty is and remains the man. Can you read that, Scotty? Because I can't see it.
Great interview. Love seeing all the guys who came out of that league, Atlantic 10 at the time, that had great NFL careers. Brian Westbrook, Brian Finneran, Jerry Azuma, ETC.
That stands for et cetera, Scotty.
I know that.
No, but that's true, man. Finneran had a great career in Atlanta. Obviously, Westbrook, he's damn near a household name in certain parts. That was a special time, and it really is cool to see those guys. You know, the smaller school guys like Shawn get to the NFL and kick ass and stay in the league for a decade, because it speaks to, you know, the hard work and the grit that comes with some of those small school guys, which is why now everything has changed with you get the small school guys with grit that flourish in the 1 or 2 years, let's say at the 1AA level, right? Or what do they call it? The subdivision level now. And now they get cherry picked and they go play at huge programs. So you almost don't even have that. Like a guy like Shawn would have played a year or two at Richmond, and then I'll tell you what would have happened, because I know Shawn too. He would have gone to play with the Sharper brothers or with Jamie Sharper at Virginia, and would have gotten a lot of money. And who knows what happens, right? Because he gets paid, and there's whatever, all these other factors that come with it, and maybe that disrupts the process that Shawn was using. But it doesn't seem like there was much that was going to get in the way of that. That dude was a badass. All right, before we go today, I do want to talk about something major that's happening this weekend, and it can't be overlooked. This is the biggest game in college football this weekend, and people can no. Okay.
Say that again.
You know how people get, you know, like they try to talk a little smack about like, oh, like you like the Big 12 too much, or you don't know. But I'm going to tell you that Utah and BYU, okay, that game is going to be Saturday night, 8 Eastern time. You can watch it on Fox. Utah right now is a 3.5-point road favorite in Provo, which is a real surprise to me. I think BYU is looked at this year, I think, as a paper tiger, and no pun intended, with their quarterback being freshman Tiger, Tiger Bachmeier is a wide receiver, Bear Bachmeier. But you get what I'm saying. Wah, wah, wah. But you get my point. This game, okay, it's the 103rd meeting between these two schools, right? And the rivalry is palpable among BYU and Utah alums, right? I thought Kyle Whittingham this week had a great, and maybe he says this because Utah doesn't quite have the recruiting resources that BYU has now in this new era. This is flipped because there was a time when Utah wins 9 straight against BYU, right? When they're in the Pac-12 or Pac-10. Now both teams are in the Big 12, and NIL has changed the game, obviously, which is good. You're able to pay players, but there's not any kind of, and not that it was lopsided before, but if I had to give the edge to one school, I'd give it to BYU going forward. In this specific game, BYU, I feel like, is being underestimated again because I think the power of playing at home in Provo, because this is not a scenario where, like every BYU Cougar is going to use their ticket and go to that game. Like there's 45,000 season tickets that are gobbled up by BYU, right? And BYU alums and BYU hardcore supporters. Like, yeah, I understand Salt Lake's not that far away, but that stadium is going to be BYU. I mean, there is going to be, you could, sprinkle a little red in there, here and there, but that is going to be powerful. And I feel like Vegas and the folks out there are disregarding the power of that home field advantage. Now, back to what Kyle Whittingham said this week that I totally enjoyed was he was asked, hey, what about this game and recruiting? And this, he said flat out, he said, look, it's not like these kids get to the finish line and they don't know where they're going to go. Like in this state, you either grow up, as a Ute or as a Cougar. And that's how it is. Now, we see again with the transfer portal, things have changed, right? We see marquee players for BYU going to Utah and vice versa. More so Utah going to BYU recently. I mean, just the one that just jumps out at me is like a Keanu Tanavasa, right? But the game in itself, there is so much at stake because the winner of this game sets themselves up for an appearance in the Big 12 championship. BYU does not have a loss, okay? And they are ranked 15th in the country. Utah has one loss, and all of a sudden that one loss looks pretty damn impressive because it was to Texas Tech. And now we have all anointed Texas Tech the king of the Big 12. By the way, there's a lot of football left. And with football usually comes chaos. So by no means am I sitting here saying that BYU is a lock to go to the or Texas Tech is a lock to go to the college football playoff. Right now, they look pretty damn good. I think a big key to this game that has not been talked about as much as all the other high-profile stuff. Smith Snowden, who's been spending a lot of time going both ways this year for Utah, because their defensive backfield has thinned out a little bit, he will be playing primarily on defense in this game. And I think that could lead to a big play for Utah on the defensive end, quite possibly a turnover. Remember, Bear Bachmeier is a freshman, and we saw some of that. We've seen some of that surface at times this year. Most recently, the past 2 weeks, or more specifically, the past 2 weeks. There is an opportunity. Like I talk about TCU going to play Baylor, or Baylor going to play TCU. I do feel like baked in there, you will have a Josh Hoover turnover or two, right? Just because of fast and free at TCU is starting to look like fast and loose, because there have just been more turnovers for that team. With BYU and Bear Bachmeier, he's done a nice job of taking care of the football, but at some point, I think that goes bust, at least for a game. I mean, he's a true freshman. The one thing that BYU does a great job of, and I think you got to look at Coach Andy Roderick for this, their offensive coordinator, how they have used Bear Bachmeier running the football and how that has bred confidence in his ability to throw. You talk to any dual quarterback, and I've talked to many, they enjoy getting that first pop, that first big, maybe it's a 15-yard running play where they get banged around a little bit and their confidence gets going, and then they're able to. What are you looking at, Scotty? Scotty, what are you looking at?
I'm listening to you.
I'm
listening to your wonderful monologue.
They get banged around a little bit, and then they have the confidence, right, to throw the ball and have success throwing the football. They've done Bear Bachmeier leads BYU in rushing last check for me. I could be wrong, but I think he does. So that's something that I think will be essential for them, and to keep the passes right. They've done a nice job of, the short passing game leading to big plays. Right. We saw it with Parker Kingston last week. We have seen it with other explosives where the 75-yard touchdown passes aren't necessarily, 75 or 70-yard throws. That would be pretty damn impressive. But, they're passing plays that have been completed and then have been extended. So at the end of the day, when you look at this matchup in this game, I have no clue who's going to win. I'd be lying to you if I told you I did. I know it's the first time these two teams are playing as ranked opponents since 2009, I think. Reading the Deseret News and talking to somebody like Jake Hatch and speaking with people out in Salt Lake City, this is probably the most high stakes, and I'm sure people can correct me on this or have opinions on this, but you could say this is the most high stakes matchup between these two teams of all time. And the best part about this is, if you look, you can look it up on Wikipedia or whatever, like the schools dispute what the record is. Like literally what's the record for this game? Like, it depends on what school you ask, which is like an amazing rivalry. All right, Scotty, you got some wise ass comment? Let's bring it up.
No wise ass comments. No, I was literally just looking at you. I said, okay.
You had a gaze going, and I was like, well, this guy doesn't look at me right with like bedroom eyes. So he's got to be looking over here.
I think you're reading into things, Pete. I don't think that's what was going on.
All right. So what were you going to say when you were looking over here? What were you thinking?
All right. We'll just be transparent. Lizzie has occasionally made comments to me in the past about how certain things that sportscasters say.
Lizzie's in the room.
In casual.
Is her microphone on?
No. She could turn it on. If you want to turn on number 2 and turn it up, Lizzie, you could talk. Lizzie can't be on camera.
She doesn't have a camera.
We don't have a camera, but that's
the biggest flaw. You got us two on camera and not her, which is a mistake by us, but okay.
Lizzie has talked to me before about
Lizzie,
how.
Can you hear her now? Is she up? Okay. All right, go ahead, Scotty.
Then someone was messing with the microphones. Sorry, Lizzie.
All right, go ahead, Scotty. Go ahead.
We keep getting interrupted here. Lizzie has talked about how things sportscasters say in common parlance that is totally anybody that watches sports hears it and it doesn't do anything. It's just normal talk. If you took it out of the context of sports, would sound really ridiculous.
Like what? Tell me.
So just now,
watching the Alabama game, score a touchdown, just two guys hooking up.
Right.
So what did I say? Well, there are a lot.
Correct.
You could listen to a lot of that.
There's a lot of sports phrases that out of the context of sports.
So what?
So you said, and you repeated it after you cut off your monologue to like yell at me. So it just got funnier. You used the phrase a couple times, banged around. And Lizzie and I made eye contact. And I smirked. And then you looked over here and got totally knocked off your monologue. I wasn't trying to distract you.
No. You guys are like teenagers, which I appreciate because I am like one too. And look, I will say there is so much of that. It is super weird.
There's a lot of sports phrases.
You could do, and you don't have to. You can look it up. Like
maybe we could have a segment.
Yeah, you go online and there's like montages of some of the things that. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I'm glad everybody gets a kick out of it. Anything else today from the Get Along Gang before we depart?
I have something for you today, Pete.
I love
this. Is really important for me.
Okay, good.
Pete, I've shared on this show and even with you in private. Really, when I left the Mavericks after the Luka trade, how important sports fandom is to me. I'm not one to really have any rooting interest outside of the teams I grew up rooting for. But today, I need to confess.
Oh, boy. What do we got here?
I am a T-shirt fan for the first time in my life. Indiana football school. Football school. I bought a T-shirt for the first time in my life that is not a Baylor shirt. Now, I want to be clear. It is Baylor gang all the way, first and foremost. But as of today, I have betrayed my values. I am now officially a T-shirt fan. Let's go, IU.
Okay. Let's get into this. I want to break this down a little bit. I have some questions. So, because I am a T-shirt guy too. So
I never have been, but I am today.
I have all kinds. I am a big, as a kid growing up, I would see all the logos of whether it was the NFL teams or Major League Baseball or college teams, and that would hit the endorphins right here. And just seeing those logos would just get me jazzed, right? I just love that. So today I still feel the same way about it. So I liked wearing, NFL, college, whatever. I just like.
Yeah, occasionally you come in here in that tech shirt.
Yeah, I have a
tech
shirt. I love it. I love it. So, but for you, I have kind of resigned myself to being someone who calls games, right? Like I don't, there's a couple teams like my Eagles, and Villanova and obviously the Philly sports teams, the Sixers when I can stand them, and the Flyers and the Phillies. But outside of that, like, I don't know. You are Baylor through and through. You bleed green.
I do.
Which is why this is like a seminal moment. You're actually
correct.
Insane when it comes to your fandom.
That's correct.
So that's why this is a watershed moment.
That's correct. And to be clear,
just
to be clear, on the record, if Baylor, by some unforeseen miracle, were to make the college football playoff and draw Indiana, I'm wearing green and gold. I'm cursing Kurt Signetti, and I'm cheering for the Bears.
Of course.
But I doubt that happens. And in the meantime, this story has absolutely captivated me. This is the best story in college football. When he turns down Penn State to stay at Indiana, it'll be the next chapter. I'm on the train, man.
Do you want to know why? Another reason why I think it's so amazing?
Yeah.
Because, and I don't think you told me this, or maybe you did. Somebody revealed Kurt Signetti's age to me recently. He's like 65.
Yep.
He's 65.
Yep.
Okay. Like, so that kind of turns on its head all the things we've talked about with college football recently, right? Like this new era, you need a young guy who can run and gun and connect to the guys and stay up all night and get the recruits and all that. 65 years of age, this guy has taken a dormant program and made it a perennial top 25 team in just 2 years. And now what, 3 in the country?
Number 3 in the country. You just beat Oregon in Oregon. And this was the worst college football program in the Power 4 conference record-wise when Kurt Signetti took it over of all time. Basketball school, we know.
Yeah.
Hence why I love this shirt. And not only that, Pete, but he did it at
JMU. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a graphic the other day, I think yesterday, that was the 10 best records of the last 10 years. JMU's like number 6. I know they're not playing all these big teams, but we were talking about them potentially sneaking into the college football playoff at some point last year. They were in contention. He left that program in that place. I think they're 5-1 or 4-2 this year. He built that program from literally nothing.
Yeah.
Now he's resurrected Indiana, and he said last year, and I do think Penn State is going to beg him to take that job. But he said last year, and I think he'll stick to it. And maybe I'm naive. I've built the next superpower here. Why would I leave? I love it. I love everything about it. Love everything about it.
So this is what you meant when you needed 3 minutes.
This is correct.
I thought you needed me for 3 minutes.
I needed 3 minutes to tell the world. For the first time in my life, I'm a T-shirt fan.
What do you think your dad thinks of that?
Oh, he loved it. I showed him last night the new shirt.
Scotty's dad is Baylor.
Yep. I was raised the way I am for a reason. No, I showed him the shirt and he thought it was hilarious.
And I always need to, because you never know who's watching for the first time. You know, Scotty literally sat in that horseshit stadium, Floyd Casey, in the pouring rain when Baylor was awful as a little boy.
Yep.
I mean,
correct.
Honestly, your father, who I've met and really like,
yeah.
I mean, he's a great man, but like CPS could have come and grabbed you at that point.
I don't think so.
I mean, having a child sit in the rain.
I was
at
like,
Floyd Casey Stadium.
I was like,
through
9
Baylor
or 10.
getting their
I was
asses
plenty
kicked.
old enough.
Through Baylor getting their asses kicked. I mean, it's negligent. I mean,
Nah. It made me who I am, and I'm thankful. But no, he thought it was a funny shirt. I mean, just the football school of it is hilarious. But
this is a great shirt. It is.
No, it's a great shirt. It's a great program.
And look, man, you've been on the Signetti train since September of last year. So let's not fake like this is
This was probably, honestly, I started at Rogue October of last year. This was probably one of our very first conversations.
Yeah. And I was like, no way.
College football. I was like, hey, watch this Indiana team.
Yeah.
They're legit. So and now, I mean, the win Saturday is what I was like, okay, I'm buying the shirt, because as much as I loved them last year, I mean, I thought Curtis Rourke was the most underrated gem in America playing quarterback last year. They did get whooped by Ohio State and beat soundly by Notre Dame in that first round of the playoff. So it's kind of like, this is a good story, but like,
yes, I 1,000% did not think that.
But this year, I told you they'd make the playoff again, and I believed that all the way because I looked at their schedule and thought, there's 1 or 2 losses here. Now there's no losses, by the way. They will be favored every game up to the Big Ten championship now. The next tough one was at Penn State. Okay, they're going to be favored in that game now.
But look, I will say, and I still think they'll make the playoff, but chaos. This is we're
I know they could drop one.
In chaos season.
They could drop one, but what they showed against Oregon, 30-20 victory, and that's only because Oregon got a pick 6, by the way. Their defense, Oregon had no answers. They had no solution to get through Indiana's defense. And I don't know how Coach Signetti does it, but Indiana has a defense that is tough, physical, fast, disciplined. I mean, and he did coach under him, so I don't think this is entirely blasphemous. It reminds you of Nick Saban's Alabama. I'm not saying the talent is quite even with Nick's best teams yet. That would be absurd. But the style, the tenacity, the discipline, the speed. When I was watching them again, I watched that whole game against Oregon Saturday, I was like, this looks like Alabama 10 years ago. I mean, it really is remarkable how they just – Dante Moore was like number 2 overall projected in the draft, and they made him look pedestrian. I mean, it was incredible. So I think this team, the ceiling, limitless this season. Limitless.
All right. Well, it's a great story, and so are you with that goddamn T-shirt. All right. If by the way, if anybody wants to pick up a shift tonight at Red Herring, get in touch with Scotty. All right. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacics. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, we're talking to Jeff Pearlman tomorrow about his Tupac book. Only God Can Judge Me. I am a weirdo about how much I love Jeff Pearlman, and so I'll hang on to that for when we talk with him. But I am beyond excited, and I can't wait to talk to him. So yeah, make sure you check us out tomorrow. We will see you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.